Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to create an elastic pattern brush. Now there are many different types of elastic, but the type of elastic we're going to draw today is the elastic and this elastic cuff of this puff top. So we're going to use our pencil tool and the variable width profile to draw this elastic, and then we are going to create a pattern brush out of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by creating our lines. Here you can see I have created 3 lines of varying heights, and then we're going to apply the variable width profile. So you can use the pen or the pencil tool. I'll start with the pen tool. I'll draw 1 line, hit return, and I'm going to give it a black stroke. And I'll go ahead and just copy this and adjust the height of it. And I want varying height. And I want to make sure that they are distributed evenly and aligned to the bottom. So I'll go up here to my align tools, align them all to the bottom, distribute them evenly. And then what I can do is I can apply the variable width profiles up here. There are several profiles. I think I've used this taper, this kind of oval taper here for mine. And I can make this a little smaller so that it fits in better once I make my brush. You can play around with the different profiles depending on your type of elastic. Now I've tried this taper here and I do like this one, but it's tapering in the wrong direction. So if I want to flip this around, what I can do is I can go to my width profile here in my properties panel. It's showing up now because I've already applied it. So I could flip here using this kind of reflect icon and it will flip the profile. So here it's flipping the opposite direction. You can also find this icon in the stroke panel. It's right here, so you can flip the profile. So I could try this elastic, or I can copy this and try making a couple different variations. So here I have 2 variations I can try. So to create my brush for this, it's really quite simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open my brushes panel. It looks like the can of paint brushes and the collapsed panels on the right here. I'm going to select my 3 objects, my 3 lines, and I'm going to bring them into the brushes panel. I can drag them in, or I can click this plus sign at the bottom here that says new brush. And what I want is a pattern brush, so I will click OK. Now, I need to add space to this brush. I don't know exactly how much space I need to add, but I'm going to go ahead. I'll start with 25%, and then I can see what it looks like and make adjustments as needed after I apply it so that it looks like it's even. So I'll click OK, and I see it's created a brush right here. I can go ahead and draw a line from my elastic. I'll hit return and apply the brush. And my spacing looks pretty good. I don't think I need to make any adjustments, but if I did need to make adjustments, I would just double click on my brush and adjust the spacing right here as needed. And then it would apply. Now it's a little tall, so I can adjust the stroke weight to shrink it down. I could also go back and kind of shrink down the height of this brush and then make it again if I feel like it's just a little bit too tall. So let's go here and let's just shrink this down just a little bit more. All right, let's try one more time. We'll go ahead, bring it in. Our pattern brush. We'll do 25% spacing. And then here I deleted that line, so I'll just draw it again and apply. And now when I shrink it down, it's not getting too dense. So you do want to make sure that the elastic stays inside. Now you could mask it inside this shape, or you could expand it and kind of shrink it down. So what I'll show you is both of those ways. So the first thing I can do is I can mask it inside this shape. To mask it inside this cuff shape, we can use a tool called Draw Inside. So I'll just go ahead and delete this. So I want the elastic to be inside of this cuff piece. So first of all, you have to be drawing inside of a closed shape. So this is a closed shape. It's my cuff piece. And here it's a really small, here in my toolbar, below my stroke and fill, and below the non icon is a little tiny circle. It says draw inside here on the very right. If I click that icon, I'm here in this mode, and now I can go ahead with my pen tool and I can draw inside this shape, and it's basically going to mask what I'm doing for me. This allows me to draw inside the shape without having to create a clipping mask by copying the shape of the cuff and clipping it to the stroke. So I find this to be a really useful tool, and that looks good to me. And I can go ahead and click the black arrow and I'll click off, and it's masked inside. So that is one really cool way to go ahead and get your elastic inside the shape that you want. Now, another way would be to expand it and to make adjustments. So let's say this is the size I want my elastic to be, but I see that it's overlapping the cuff in some areas. So one thing I could do is I could go up here to Object, Expand Appearance, and now each of these are individual shapes, and I could go in here a little painstakingly and move them. And I will say this is not ideal, especially if you have a lot of elastic. Now this cuff isn't very large, and so I could go ahead and make these adjustments. I could also have fixed all these bottom ones at once. But it is a way to correct this if you're not really liking the way it looks. So it's not the end of the world, but we do not want to have our elastic going outside of an area where it should not be. So we'll take a look and we can see our elastic has been applied to the cup. I hope that helps you understand how to create an elastic brush using the variable width profile, how to add the correct spacing and to make adjustments to the spacing, and then also how you can use the draw inside tool and then also expand the brush to make adjustments using the direct select tool. Please let me know if you have any questions, and in the next lesson, we'll learn how to draw grommets on this top.